What if everything in your house, the sofa, the takeout box, even your sneakers, was grown instead of manufactured? Not 3D printed from plastic, cultivated like a mushroom. That's the promise of mycelium, the root-like network fungi use to weave through soil. It's showing up as compostable packaging that replaces styrofoam, as leather for luxury bags, as high-protein meat without animals, as fire-resistant panels for buildings, and yes, inside experimental robots and space habitat concepts. It sounds like sci-fi, but a surprising amount is already real. And where it isn't, and the labs are racing to close the gap. The twist is that mushrooms aren't the star of the show here. The underground mycelium is. Think of mushrooms as apples and mycelium as the tree. We're learning to grow the tree into whatever shape we need, then stop it from growing and use it like a material. When you hear companies talk about mushroom packaging or mushroom leather, it's really mycelium doing the heavy lifting. Start with the most boring product in the world, the foam that cushions electronics. Dell piloted mycelium packaging over a decade ago, growing it in molds so it arrives exactly in the shape you need. No plastic, no petroleum. Since then, Ecovative's mushroom packaging has become a commercial line that grows in a week and breaks down in a backyard compost pile in roughly 45 days. Furniture giants like IKEA have explored it as a replacement for foam, and European makers such as Magical Mushroom Company now produce custom parts at scale. The pitch isn't just green, it is cheaper tooling for custom shapes, natural insulation, and no landfill guilt when you're done. If you've ever opened a box and felt bad about the mound of foam you're about to throw away, this flips that script. You can crumble the pieces and feed your garden. Fashion was supposed to be the big coming out party. In 2021, Hermes unveiled Sylvania, a mycelium-based material developed with MycoWorks. Not long after, MycoWorks opened what it calls the first commercial-scale fine mycelium plant in South Carolina to supply millions of square feet to brand partners. That's the real deal, a 136,000 square foot factory the company says can make luxury grade sheets by the million. At the same time, a different mushroom leather path hit a wall. Bold Threads paused Milo in 2023 after struggling to raise money. Translation: the idea works, but scaling is hard and expensive, and not every startup survives the jump from runway hype to factory reality. Industry trackers say the alternative leather space is still growing fast, but expect uneven progress brand by brand. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps this channel grow and tells the algorithm you want more clear, no-nonsense deep dives like this. Food is where mycelium quietly shines because it's not pretending to be meat with a chemistry set. It is meat-like by structure. Companies like MyForest Foods and Meaty grow mycelium in controlled farms into whole-cut textures. Crispy bacon strips or steak-like slabs with short ingredient list and naturally high fiber. Their nutrition panels make an interesting contrast with soy or pea-based patties. Mycoprotein tends to be high in protein and fiber with low saturated fat, while some older plant meat recipes were saltier and used more saturated fats. Many have improved lately. Clinical and review papers back up mycoprotein's heart-friendly profile, though, like any food, there are allergy cautions for a small subset of people. So is mushroom meat healthier? It's not a salad, but it often means high protein, high fiber, fewer additives, closer to a whole food. Now, construction. This is where mycelium gets weird, in a good way. When you grow mycelium through agricultural waste and then bake it to stop growth, you get a light foamy composite with low thermal conductivity and legit sound absorption. Designers have stacked mycelium bricks into 40-foot pavilions, and European brands like Mogu sell acoustic wall panels today with respectable fire ratings after eco-friendly finishing. Studies keep coming in on the material's fire behavior. Mycelium tends to char and slow flame spread instead of dripping and fueling a blaze like some plastics. That's why architects see it as a promising interior acoustic and insulation material, even if it won't replace structural concrete or steel. Think of it as the drywall adjacent stuff. Panels that keep rooms quiet, cozy, and safer when things go wrong. And then there's the fun future tech bucket. Fungi don't just grow into shapes. Living mycelium conducts faint electrical pulses that change when it's touched, stretched, or exposed to light or chemicals. That's why labs are experimenting with mycelium as living sensors and even rudimentary biological circuits. In 2024, researchers published biohybrid robots whose control signals were mediated by mycelium's electrical activity. It's early days, but the idea of materials that can sense, adapt, or even heal themselves isn't just for coral reefs anymore. Imagine walls that detect mold before you smell it, or sneakers that monitor foot strain without a battery. Those are the kinds of prototypes this research hints at. Space agencies are paying attention too. NASA has an active mycotexture program exploring habitats you could pack as a flat kit and then grow into rigid structures on the moon or Mars. The logic is brutal and elegant. Shipping mass to space is expensive. Shipping spores and letting them do the assembly on site could be much cheaper. An astronaut lands with a flat, lightweight scaffold, hydrates a dormant fungal culture, and weeks later you've got a tough bio-grown shell that can be dried, coated, and used as a part of a habitat. Even if you never leave Earth, that approach, grow what you need from local waste, hits the circular economy bullseye. Okay, let's talk money. Where does mycelium already pencil out, and where is it still a stretch? Packaging is winning because custom foam is expensive to tool, and mycelium can be grown to shape quickly and cheaply with compostable end of life. Makers claim it's cost competitive for many protective shapes and coolers, and LCAs comparing mycelium inserts with expanded polystyrene find lower carbon footprints, particularly when end of life is home composting instead of landfill. In fashion, costs are closer to premium leather than to bargain synthetics. Some estimates put mycelium leather near $25 per square foot, which is in line with good animal hide, fine for luxury, tougher for mass retail until factories ramp. In food, mycelium meats are still premium priced compared to pork or chicken at the grocery store. But farm-style fermentation is inherently scalable. This is where we'll likely see prices fall fastest as more facilities come online. Who loses if this really scales? Plastics makers that rely on foam, petrochemicals tied to polystyrene, and parts of the leather supply chain take a hit first. Beef and pork won't disappear, but if mycelium grabs even a few percent of the market, the long-term demand curve changes. On the flip side, farmers with crop residues and textile mills with clean scraps could have a new revenue stream. Waste in, materials out. Circularity isn't a slogan here, it's the business model. Ecovative, Mogu, and Biome all build on agricultural byproducts. You're not extracting oil, you're upcycling husks. So what's the catch? Speed, standards, and skepticism. Speed. Growing takes days, not minutes, so factories have to be designed like vertical farms, clean, controlled, with tight biosecurity, which costs money. Standards. The materials world runs on certifications, fire ratings, durability, rub counts, abrasion, tear strength, VOCs. Some mycelium products already meet high bars, and companies like MycoWorks publish test results for premium lines. But industry-wide, buyers still want more data and consistency. Skepticism. The bold threads pause spook the fashion world. People worry this is just green theater. The counterpoint is that other players hit real manufacturing milestones. South Carolina's plant exists, so we should expect winners and losers like any new industry, not a universal flop. Health and safety deserve a straight answer. Mycelium-based foods have solid nutrition research behind them. High-quality protein, fiber, and decent micronutrients. And regulators have cleared several mycoproteins as safe. But some individuals do report sensitivities or allergic reactions. And responsible labels note that. If you try mycelium meats, treat them like any new food. Check the label, especially if you have a history with fungi allergies. For building interiors, the composite is killed in an oven, so it's not a living fungus in your wall. You're getting the structural network, not spores. For compostables, third-party certifications like TUVs. OK Compost Home are the gold standard. Look for those when you can. Let's end with the wild cards. Researchers are carbonizing fungal biomass into porous carbons for supercapacitors and battery anodes. It's early and very labby, but if you can turn waste mycelium into usable energy storage carbon, the loop tightens even further. Grow a material, use it, then upcycle it into something that stores power. On the robotic side, living mycelium as a sensing layer in soft machines is a legit research track now. Combine those with construction panels that insulate and dampen sound, and you start to glimpse a world where parts of your house, your clothes, even your gadgets are grown to shape, sense their environment, and quietly compost back to soil when you're done. That's not a vibe shift, that's an industrial rewrite. My take: this isn't green hype, it's a platform. The near-term wins will be packaging you can compost, acoustic and insulation panels that are safer by design, and foods that turn fiber and protein into familiar textures without factory farming. Leather-like fashion is real but will live upmarket until capacity and durability data get boring. The big upside is the system change, pulling plastic foam and some animal leather out of supply chains and replacing them with materials grown from waste. The big risk is the classic one, scaling fast enough, cheaply enough to matter. So, would you trust a mushroom to build your house or feed your family? After looking at the data, I'd say in more places than you think, you already can. And in a few years, you might not even notice it's there, until you toss it in the compost and watch it disappear. All the sources I used to make this video are linked below in the description. And I also included a video about how the Cybertruck went from 1 million reservations to a big fail. Thanks for watching.